Hola, bienvenidos a todos. Good afternoon. This is Abelardo de la Peña Jr., Director of Marketing and Communications with La Plaza de Cultura y Artes. My hat. Welcoming you all to En Casa con La Plaza on a sunny Monday afternoon. La Plaza de En Casa con La Plaza, of course, is our virtual programming. We've been at it since April 2020, bringing you the best of LA art and Latino art, culture, and history from our home to yours, and in this case, from my office to your home, or maybe your office, or wherever you're at. Thank you for joining us. If you're on Zoom, please let us know where you're viewing from. We'd like to know where you're tuning in from. Same with Facebook. Right on the comment section, right in the Q&A, there's a chat feature. Please do so. Before we get started, just a few updates on La Plaza. We are open, as you know, Wednesday through Tuesday from noon to 5 p.m. No reservations necessary, but are encouraged especially if you have a group coming in. La Tienda gift store is open as well, so bring your cash, debit or credit card. All of our exhibitions are open, including LA Starts Here, Calle Principal, and our two temporary exhibitions, Afro Latinidad, Mi Casa, My City, and Carlos Alvarez. Evolution of Form, only light can do that. No, Evolution of Form, and also only light can do that. A neon art installation by Patrick Martinez that you can visit day or night by walking, biking, or driving on Main Streets. Quite amazing, spectacular. I think you'll be awed. Speaking of Carlos Alvarez, our first public program, a screening of Carlos Alvarez Playing with Fire, the award-winning documentary detailing the life of the Chicano art icon, will be screened. The Sacred Souls, a Chicano Souls oldie band out of San Diego, will be performing. And also we'll be having a panel discussion with Elsa Flores Almaraz and Richard Montoya, the co-directors of the documentary, as well as artists Frank Romero, Barbara Carrasco, and John Valadez. Okay, today's session is brought to you sponsored by AARP California. So thank you so much, AARP California. And with that, let me bring up our Director of Programming and Culinary Arts, Jimena Martin. Hello.
Buenas tardes. Buenas tardes. How are you?
I'm doing good. How are you doing?
I'm good. I'm so excited to have Bret Thompson from Pez Cantina do their show today because the perfect bite and drink for the summer. So without further ado, I'd like to bring up Bret Thompson, chef and owner of Pez Cantina. Hi, Bret.
Hi, everybody. How you doing, Jimena? How you doing, Abelardo?
Good, good, good. So tell us a little bit more. How's your summer going?
Well, it's actually pretty hot, although it's been a lot cooler than it was last week. But it's going amazing, actually. You know, a lot more social activity compared to last summer. So we got to be happy about that. And you know, kids are out of school, so we're just balancing the kids and summer camp and the restaurant. And, you know, thank goodness the restaurant business, or all of our friends and colleagues here in Los Angeles, is definitely, you know, making somewhat of a comeback. I think with the patios open now, and, you know, we're happy, and we're just happy to be here, just cooking and keeping the kitchen warm and, you know, doing our thing, having fun. Lucy and I are just, you know, just so, you know, feeling so blessed to be in the restaurant and still going strong. So it's been going well.
Can you tell us what you have going on at the restaurant during the week? Do you have any special programming coming up?
So yeah, we're you know, so we're closed on Mondays, but we're open Tuesday through Sunday. We've got an amazing. So I'll start with Sunday brunches. We've got 90s hip hop brunches, which we started doing. Yesterday was our first, well, sort of our second launch, but we actually officially launched it yesterday. Really fun vibe. Our great brunch menu, of course. Tuesday, Taco Tuesdays we're continuing that again. And, you know, we've got amazing, you know, summertime. So we're working with all kinds of great summer produce right now, you know, from heirloom tomatoes to other produce that we're working with local farmers. And, you know, we're always doing something fun during the season. We just did an amazing mariscos and mezcal dinner with Gilberto Cetina from Holbox. And Gilberto and I always throw down like these amazing dinners. So it was super fun. Yeah, and so we're doing also a late night kind of fun late night thing on Friday nights and Saturday nights, and soon on Saturday nights we'll start doing live salsa again. So we're really excited about that. That is salsa music.
So to go with that salsa music, what delicious cocktail do you have to start off our afternoon with us today?
So this is it's called a Oaxacan Beach Party, and literally I kind of created it in about 5 minutes. We were looking for something to do that was kind of fun and summery a couple of weeks ago, and so it's really kind of an homage to my friends, my friends from Los Javis, Jaime and Javier Senior and their family down in Oaxaca. They have an amazing place down there. We've been down there, and it's amazing palenque. We've made mezcal with these guys, and they are the real deal. It's just amazing. So we're using their espadin mezcal and coconut rum and some fresh passion fruit. So I love passion fruit, and when you get it fresh, they look like, I don't know, kind of like wrinkled up tomatoes. These passion fruits in particular have a white interior or orange interior, where some of them have like a pink interior. I think those pink ones are called like strawberry passion fruit. So we've got passion fruit, we've got agave. So I think I mentioned the coconut rum as well. So it kind of gives you that beachy feel. The smoky mezcal with the coconut rum and the lime, the passion fruit. I mean, if you've ever been to Oaxaca, there's a lot of passion fruit down there. They call it maracuya, and it's just amazing. And so I thought it was a very good combination, very, very simple, something you could do at your house. You don't need to get all these exotic ingredients. And so, yeah, that's what we're going to be doing, our first cocktail before the tacos, so we can get kind of warmed up. And
Yes.
I think I cook better definitely when I've got a little bit of a buzz going. So
Absolutely. Please show us how you make your cocktail.
All right, you got it. So first we're going to do is we're going to get some fresh lime juice, and really important to use fresh limes. I always say whenever I'm using citrus, which I do often, never, ever, 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 ever buy that stuff that's in like those plastic containers, because it's just not the same. As you can see what I'm doing right now, I'm rolling the limes. And what I'm doing is I'm kind of breaking up the pulp inside. And that's going to help juice it a lot easier. And so they're kind of soft now. And my knife is not very sharp. Look at that. And I left one lime unpressed because we're going to use that for the garnish. But also, when you're using fresh citrus, whether it's grapefruit, limes, or lemons, you also get that beautiful like oil from the zest. And that's like very, very special. That's like one of the best parts about it. So, all right. And so I'm going to squeeze that into a little bowl. And when I'm using agave instead of like, say, simple syrup or like a store-made, say, margarita mix. So, because usually those margarita mixes you buy in the store are usually high fructose corn syrup and water. So it's really just not very good quality. This one we're going to do with, lime juice, agave, and of course the fresh pulp, and then the two spirits here, which is really great. And as I'm squeezing this right now, also like a lot of the pulp is coming through on the lime juice, which is just, it's also great because you can feel it in your mouth when you're drinking the cocktail. It's so nice, and you can smell that zest. I'm going to squeeze all these. I don't think I'm going to use all of them, but I'm sure we might have a second round later when my wife gets home. So we'll definitely won't throw that away.
Can you tell us a bit more about the mezcal? Mezcal is so hot right now. There's so different types of mezcal. There's some that are super smoky, like campfire smoky, and some are light. How is this Javi mezcal compared to the rest?
So we use it for our well. So it's kind of, I don't want to say it's too smoky. It definitely has the smoke that you need. If you've ever, so basically, because a lot of people are saying, what's the difference between mezcal and tequila? And my bar manager and my partner, Chris, and I, we love doing I'm always mezcal and he's tequila. So it's like mezcal versus tequila. We kind of talk about the differences. We do some of these Zoom classes. So basically you use agave. And the biggest difference is that with mezcal, you cook the agave in the ground using wood, hence the smoke. Where the tequila, pretty much, I think, every tequila that out there that's cooked in an oven. And I don't know of any that's actually cooked with wood, but using just fire. So you get that straightforward roasting. And then they both, when they're done, they get that nice like sweetness to it. But that's the main difference. Now, the cool thing about mezcal is that you've got where tequila, they're basically made with blue Weber to agave. With mezcal, there's many dozens of varieties of agave you can use. This one's called espadin. So I've got the lime juice done. And the reason why, so the espadin is the main one you see because it's cultivated. And many of these agaves actually are wild and they don't cultivate them. And they take up to like, say, 35 years to grow them. So I'm gonna get some ice here. All right, so put a good amount of crushed ice. All right, and then we're going to add 2 ounces of mezcal. We're going to add 1 ounce of the coconut rum, and I'm using Malibu, but if you can use any coconut rum, it's fine. If I'm ever doing like a kind of flavor enhancer spirit, like coconut rum, I'll usually just do like 2 parts spirit, 1 part of the kind of enhancer, because you don't want it to overwhelm the drink. I've got 2 in there, and then I'm going to do 1 ounce of agave syrup. Now, keeping in mind that we have the passion fruit as well, which is pretty sweet. Well, it's actually kind of sweet and sour, so I'm not going to put too much agave. And then we're going to put 2 ounces of the lime juice. All righty. And then for the pulp for the passion fruit, so I'm just going to cut it right in half. Oh my gosh, I love this. This is so great. So you can see, like, I don't know if you can see that beautiful pulp. It almost looks like caviar. And, it's amazing. You understand why, when you get these, you understand why they're so expensive, when you buy them from the market, because the yield is so low on these things, So I'm going to scoop one of these, actually both halves into here.
So how you can do, how's it going to work? I know there's a lot of seeds, the seeds and the pulp.
I put them both in there. Yeah, I love it. If you ever buy like passion fruit juice or passion fruit, like a pulp, like we get it sometimes from our vendors, excuse me. It's usually just the puree, but I really like the texture of that. And, you could strain it out, but again, at the end of the day, once you end up straining them out, you don't have a lot of product. So you kind of need to be mindful about that, but give it a good shake. All right, so that's that. We'll leave that for a second.
So quick question, if we don't have access to fresh passion fruit, and we probably go to the Latino Mexican markets where we can find, pulp. What would be the equivalent of, like, how much pulp for the cocktail versus if you had the fresh fruit?
I would say probably about, I put in there about 3 ounces of pulp, I would say. And if you did, for example, if you really couldn't find passion fruit and you wanted to use, say, like mango, I would say about the same amount like of mango puree. So like fresh mango kind of puree with some water or some simple syrup, and then add that instead. But the passion fruit definitely gives it an interesting kick to it. So, all right, now I'm going to rim the drinks. And I'm doing here is I actually put some agave into this little shallow bowl, and I'm going to kind of just spin the glass in there. People always ask what we use to kind of adhere the chili and lime powder. I like to use agave because it's thick and it puts on a really nice thick layer on there. So we do 2 of these glasses.
What kind of salt are you putting on there?
So this is called Pez powder. And so it's chili and lime seasoning that we make at the restaurant. And it's definitely a superior to that other brand. Oh, I forgot what it's called, but we actually make it homemade, and it's a nice chili and lime flavor, saltiness to it. It's very mild, but it gives it a super nice kind of zing to the rim. And you can see it's also very beautiful. And then what we're going to do is just going to kind of, after we've rimmed it like this, we'll pour it in like that. It's about the perfect amount. Look at that. I've done that before, obviously. All right, and then just to kind of give us some cool garnish, we're gonna cut this down in half. And what you can do is kind of just, actually what I'm gonna do, I'm gonna slice the line first. I'm gonna slice the ends off the line. And then, which a cool little bartender trick is to cut the lime down like that first, down the center. You see that, like horizontal?
Mhm.
And then cut it in half, like into a wedge. And that little flap is already there. And you can put that on the side and kind of prop your little passion fruit like that. And voila, you have this gorgeous, gorgeous summer Oaxacan beach party.
That looks delicious. I love passion
I
fruit.
know.
I love
I
maracujá.
love passion fruit. Me too. I love it. I mean, it's just one of those, it's passion fruit has something about it that is, I don't know, it's just so sour. It's so sweet. It's just kind of like, it just packs a punch, you know. Give this a try. Mm. Oh, wow. Actually better without a straw. Yeah, there's something about passion fruit that's just so like, it's just so potent.
Mhm.
And I just love it. So cheers.
Salud.
Mm.
So for those who just joined us, no worries. You will get your cocktail recipe via Zoom, via Facebook, or on YouTube.
Wow.
We have Brett's been so kind and generous and provided us the recipe for today's cocktail.
Yeah. All right. So I'm going to put this away for later. Yeah. All right.
Just so real quick, so if you want to get the Pez salt, where can I find it? Do I have to go to the restaurant? Do you have it online?
Pez powder. So yeah, we actually have it on our website, www.pezpowder.com. It's also on Amazon. We also started, we just, well, we've been in Super King Markets and Bristol Farms, and we just got into Ralph's. So we are.
Congratulations, that's huge.
Thanks. I know it's been, you know, we're not there yet. We're going to be distributing very soon, but we just got the green light, so we're very happy about that. And it's definitely food manufacturing. That whole realm of the food industry is definitely a lot different than restaurants and cooking. I'll tell you that. But it's you know, we've got a great product. We stand behind it, and you know, we definitely are excited about it. So yeah.
Before we go further, I just want to say there's some folks. April Magana says hello from La Puente. David Plen says he loves Pez Cantina.
Thank you.
And then Barbara Hansen was asking about the mezcal, but we let her know that it is Los Javis, which is one of my favorites, Los Javis.
Yeah. You know, I'm just gonna, so just real quick, this is really kind of cool. You talk about varietals, you can see up there, I've got like 7 different varietals of Los Javis there. So they've got such a good variety of, you know, everyone's a different flavor. They're just dynamite. So.
And what's nice is family run.
Yes, exactly.
All family run, which is really, really nice to support family.
Yeah. And they're still pretty much a small, I would say a small production house, you know, compared to like some of these bigger guys. So, all right, shall we get started with the tacos?
Absolutely.
Okay, so I think everybody's got the recipe out there, right? Okay, so the tacos we're doing today have a cool story to them as well. They're called El Campeon tacos, and they're basically tacos. Sorry, this chili is kind of creeping up. I'm gonna get some more mezcal there. So we won a taco competition with these tacos, and they're Shrimp Diablo Tacos. Sorry, let me get some water. 1 second. Oh, sorry, kind of creeped up on me there.
You got real chilies then. It's like grandma's kitchen.
Oh my gosh, it just went down the wrong pipe. Woo! All right, I'm back. So anyway, we won a taco competition with these tacos out of like 20 different taco houses. So they're called El Campeon tacos. They're basically tacos a la diabla. And they're shrimp tacos with diabla sauce. And the unique thing about these tacos is that we make the tortillas using, we infuse squid ink. So it's actually the ink from the squid into the fresh masa, which I have here. And we're gonna get this beautiful like black masa. And yeah, so it's very, very unique. Another unique ingredient we have here is the dried shrimp. And I think the dried shrimps, a lot of different cultures use them, but I think I discovered this from my wife, Lucy. Her mom uses this a lot to make, like, grind them up and make tortillas de camaron. So those are.
When I was in Oaxaca, I had them for the first time. They were a little bit smaller, dehydrated, and then she brought them back to life with just lime juice.
Oh yeah,
Let them
nice.
sit there, and then they came back up. But I never tried them to completely ground.
Oh yeah. You never had them ground before?
No.
Okay, so we sometimes, there's this thing called, and many people know this is a tortillas de camaron, where you grind the shrimp, or you buy it already ground, actually, a lot of times, but we can grind it ourselves. And you sort of make like a meringue. So you take egg whites and you beat them until they get kind of like a medium peak, and you fold the shrimp in there, the dried shrimp powder, and then you add the eggs that are beaten as well, and you add like you fry those. You kind of add them to hot oil and you fry them, and then once they're like kind of like a torta, you add them to like an amazing tomato sauce and you eat them. And a lot of times she'll make that for Quaresma.
Yes. So maybe you need to come back and show me how to make those again for Quaresma.
Oh my gosh, that is a very interesting dish. It took me a while to actually get to like that dish. I don't know what it was. I think it was the funk of the dried shrimp, because the dried shrimp do have a little bit of like a funk to them, like fish sauce or one of these things. But I think it's acquired after a while. You like start to love them. So all right, let me get to the masa. So I'm gonna wear gloves because these things, if not, my hands will be as black as my chef jacket.
Where can we find the ink?
Squid ink. Probably the best way to find it is like online. If you go to like like our shout out to our great seafood company, Santa Monica Seafood. They have an online store. You could buy it through them. I'm sure you could buy it through like Amazon as well, or any like special seafood shop. But it's definitely not something you're going to find at Ralph's or Whole Foods or any market. I mean, it's definitely got to be a specialty market to it. So I've got fresh masa, and this is corn masa for tortillas. I get this great masa from La Gloria Tortilleria in East LA. We've been working with them. Actually, Lucy grew up with these guys, Fernando and the late Oscar that we lost like a year ago. There's just a wonderful family, and they have amazing masa. So we get our masa from those guys. So, and a little bit of this goes a long way. You can see the texture of it. I don't know if you can tell. It's kind of like pudding almost. But again, it's great to tint I probably put like about a teaspoon and a half in there, and I've got 2 pounds of masa more or less right here. So after I put it in there, I'm gonna kind of just work it and just move it around and kind of knead it a little bit. You really can't over knead masa like bread if you or other cookies, that kind of stuff. If you over knead it, it might get chewy or weird, but it doesn't have the gluten like that does. So you really want to make sure it's nice and mixed in so the color just comes out. And so we also do the same thing at Pez with flour tortillas for our seafood burritos. So we actually add the squid ink to the flour masa for the flour tortillas, and it comes out really, really awesome.
Now the ink, is it for flavor or just for color?
It's just for color. The squid ink really doesn't have any flavor, to be honest. If anything, it's super mild. I'm gonna add a little bit more. I think on the recipe I put 1 teaspoon, but if you guys are really paying attention out there and want to kind of just make a little change, probably 2 teaspoons actually be better. As a matter of fact, I did a sea inspired cupcake for Cupcake Wars. I don't know if you remember that show. And the theme was the ocean, and I used squid ink to color the cupcake and made it black, and you couldn't taste it at all. Oh. And it was very cool, and it was a really cool experience. The first time I actually kind of thought okay, I better make sure this doesn't have a seafood flavor. It doesn't have any really, very, very faint maybe odor of the ocean, but nothing very strong at all. You know, it's very nice.
If anything, I thought it'd be salty.
Salty? It's not. Yeah, I
Yeah.
don't. It's, you know, honestly, I haven't really tried it straight like that before, but I
Here's
don't
your
want to do
chance,
it now.
Brett.
I'm
Here's your
not gonna do it
chance.
now. No way. Now I'm gonna have a black tongue the entire time. So, all right. So it's pretty well kneaded right now. You can see it's just that beautiful dough. It's just so fun to play with. That's why I like being a chef. It's like playing with Play-Doh. All right. So that's that.
Quick question,
Now-
Brett, sorry.
yeah.
Margaret Avila is asking, where do you get the masa for flour tortillas? Do you go to Gloria's as well?
Yeah. Yep. I think also, I mean, East LA, you can get a lot of different masa. I don't know anyone like offhand besides them that you can get flour, because flour tortilla masa is very, very different. And in my opinion, a lot more difficult to work with than corn tortilla, because you have the gluten and the stretching and the working it. It's definitely a lot of work. It's not something so they make it for us. It's not something I really want to endeavor. I know a lot of restaurants do that specialize in that. Go for it. It's definitely a different animal in terms of tortillas. Yeah, so I have got a tortilla press here. And another little cool tip is that I've actually got the plastics from a tortilla, like the ones we buy for chips, that I use for this to actually flatten the tortilla, because I don't know what it is about this, but the texture is just perfect and the thickness is good, and it doesn't stick to the plastic. So I use the tortilla plastic, and then I have this great little press here, nothing fancy. And also really important to note that I have basically, to make my tortillas, yes, you could have a comal, and yes, we have a comal at the restaurant, but at my house, I just have a non-stick Teflon pan. I have it on low here. It's just been kind of sitting on low. And that's perfect because it doesn't stick. It's just, everyone has one, well, not everyone, but you know, they're easy to get, and you don't have to have a big old comal at your house, you know. All right, so the ball, you know, it depends on what size you want. You know, this is about, I don't know, it's a little bit smaller than a golf ball, maybe about 1.25 inches in diameter. You kind of just make it nice and round and put it right there. And I'm gonna kind of put it right in the middle, flat, put the other piece of plastic on top, flatten off a little bit with your hand, and then squeeze this guy down, a couple of little taps. You don't want to go too thin, then it's super fragile. But you can see it just kind of flattens out really nice. And then I'm gonna pull this guy at the top, and then get close to your comal or your pan, and you want to just go right in there, right into the pan like that. And you know, the first side I probably put on there, I don't know, maybe about 35 or 40 seconds, and then I'll flip it over. You kind of see the edges starting to get a little bit like toasty, and you'll flip it over, as you'll see in a second, and then kind of cook about another same amount of time. You should start seeing a little bit of a fluff to it, like a little bit of a pillow action, which, you know, I just love that. It's such a great little reaction it has. So I'm gonna do a couple more here. Yeah, making tortillas are great. I gotta admit, when we first opened up Pez, I had never made a family tortilla in my life. Now I'm pretty good at it. And I heard so many fun things. Like I remember asking one of my cooks, a guy from Mexico. I said, "Hey, can you make tortillas?" He goes, "Men don't make tortillas in Mexico." I said, "Dude, I make tortillas here. You're making tortillas here. Come on, man, jump in with me." So yeah, it's not easy. I mean, once you get to know how to do it, it's pretty easy. And I'm probably making it look easy right now, but you know, it's not like you've got to kind of practice it, because the thing is that it's so tender, the dough, that if you don't have the right amount of you know, we actually put a little bit of water when we buy the masa. We put a little bit of water and a little bit of maseca in there, and what we find that does is it actually allows, because at the restaurant when we're making the tortillas for like service, we don't make them fresh every single taco. Like if we know we're going to be doing, say, 50 tacos in the next 10 minutes, we're just pumping them out. And it kind of keeps them from drying out, the maseca and the water a little bit. So it's interesting. All right, I'm just gonna use my hand and flip the tortilla over. It's really hard to tell on the camera, you guys, but there's a little bit of like a cooked skin, like a, you know, and that's how you know it's done. And then I just kind of pat it down a little bit, let it go a little longer. And, you know, I'm gonna wait till we get that one out to put that one in there. But Yeah, I mean, tortillas are really fun to make. And, you know, from that, actually, you know, we do like seafood empanadas. So we'll take like, we'll take this right here and we'll add like a shrimp filling, or, you could puree like in your Roboku or your Cuisinart some salmon and shallots or what, any kind of filling you want, and just flip it over like this and make an empanada and fry it. So easy, it's so fun. And it's cool that it's black. People are like, oh my gosh, like what is that? That color, you know? So, but you know, we also use that same masa for gorditas, like anything seafood, gorditas, sopes, empanadas, really fun. And it always like calls a really great reaction from our guests, you know? So that guy's just about done. All right, so tortillas are going, and I'm gonna get those done first, and we're gonna keep them nice and warm in this little cozy little nest thing I have here in my little basket. These cool little baskets, they're made out of pine needles from the state of Tapalpa, from the area of Tapalpa in Jalisco. This mom and daughter couple I know, they actually make those for us, which is really cool. All right, I don't know if you can see this, but the tortilla is kind of like fluffing up a little bit here.
That's the magic.
Yeah, that is the magic. I always like, I love like, just like, oh my God, I just want to rub them on my cheeks. They feel so good and soft and warm. And I love fresh tortillas. The smell of them are amazing. And it's just, it literally is a magic to it. All right, I'm gonna get the other one in here, and then we're gonna start on the filling. It's funny because I lived in France for a little while, like when I was first a young cook. And all my friends there in France, they would say, oh, can you make Mexican food for us? But I could not find tortillas to save my life. So I ended up like having Lucy send me maseca, and I would just make tortillas out of maseca. But it's something very special, I think, in Los Angeles. We're so lucky to have, you know, the great Mexican culture and all the great markets. We're just blessed to have all those ingredients here, you know, so.
Yeah, absolutely. Access to fresh masa, dried masa, dried corn masa. And then some folks are going back and like doing nixtamal and making it from home and grinding, using the grinder to make it at home and make super fresh tortillas after doing the nixtamal.
Yeah, there are so many companies. Macienda is this company that we worked with in the past. They're doing amazing like heirloom corn stuff. And there's really a lot. It takes a lot to actually get the corn, grind it, add the cal, the lime, and the whole process of rehydration of that. I mean, it really takes a lot. You really have to be committed with the right machinery to doing that. And you know, I definitely respect those who do that highly, because that is like it's definitely an art. Okay, so next thing I'm gonna do is I'm gonna start on the salsa. So the tortillas, put those aside for now. And so basically what we're gonna do is so this is like basically a Diablo sauce. Now there's so many different ways of doing Diablo salsa. I'm gonna make just a very, very simple one. It's a lot simpler than the one we do at Pez, because the one we do at Pez is just it's actually a combination of two different salsas. So this one, basically the ingredients are onion and garlic and habaneros, tomato, guajillo chilies, and tomatillos. And so I'm basically just gonna take an onion. I've got this little pot here that's preheated. And I'm gonna just kind of large dice these onions and add that in there. It's already kind of sizzling away because I wanted to make sure I got that hot, and that would speed up the salsa production. I'm gonna make a small batch of salsa here. So I've got just one tomato. Again, I'm gonna puree this, so there's no need to really cut it any smaller than that. I just kind of large dice it, seeds in and everything, just put those in like that as well. The onion, I kind of skipped over that, but I used about a quarter of an onion, not too much onion. And the tomatillos, I've got, say, like 5 here. Tomatillos come in so many different shapes, so it's hard to say exactly how many, but I would say about a half pound of tomatillos, more or less. I've got like 5 sort of medium to large ones. And all right, so I think that's enough. I'm actually gonna just do 4 of those. Now, before I get to the habaneros, I wanna get the other chilies done, because I wanna tell you about the habaneros and how to kind of gauge that. I've also got 3 peeled garlic cloves here, and I've got some jalapenos. I'm gonna just do 1 jalapeno because it's gonna be spicy with the habanero. And I'm leaving the seeds in there like that, okay? And so I'm gonna get that going. Now, the guajillo chilies, what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna take the stem off, and I'm gonna get rid of the seeds. The stem, for obvious reasons, We don't want the stem in there. It's, woody and gross, and you don't want that. The seeds I just find to be kind of bitter, and just the texture of the seeds in your mouth are kind of they're not pleasant. So I'll take the seeds out. And most dried chilies I use, except if they're really small, I'll take the seeds out, because usually the bigger the chili, the bigger the seeds. And now what I'm doing, I don't know if you can see this here, but I'm actually going to be putting this guajillos directly onto the fire here on my stove. You can definitely use tongs. I'm using my fingers because I don't feel my fingers anymore. Just kidding, I do. But you want to get these kind of nice and toasty. It's here, I should probably set the right example here, right? So you can see it's starting to smoke a little bit. And just keep an eye on those guys as you're doing it, but the flavor from the guajillos when you toast them over this is so excellent. And you could also, at the restaurant, when I say it's a little more complicated at the restaurant, what we do is actually we put all these ingredients, including the guajillos, we put them all on the grill, and we get them really, really, I don't want to say charred, but like very, very dark. Now the guajillo is nice and brown. We put it in the salsa. This guy is almost ready. Yeah, so we put everything on the grill and get it really, really dark, and the flavor just comes out so nicely. I like that. You can do, obviously habanero salsa anyway, but I really like it, that toastiness on the grill. All right, put this guy in there as well.
Did you have any oil or anything there in the pot?
I don't. No. What I'm going to do is I'm going to add water, and not too much water. Basically, I put about a half a cup of water in there, Jimena, and I just want the water to be able to sort of help steam the salsa, because you've got so much water in the tomatillos and the tomatoes. You don't really need so much more water in there. And now I have it on high. Okay, now to the good stuff here. The habaneros, woo, those guajillos are getting me. So the habaneros are spicy. For me, they are, at least. Some people can gobble them up. I got a cook who likes to just basically eat them like this for lunch, dip them in some salt and eat like that. But one thing I know about habaneros is that when you first cook them in salsa, when you try the salsa, when you first blend it and it's hot, it is just like on fire. But it kind of mellows out over time. So as hot as it is when you first make it, it's still hot and you first blend it, it does kind of cool off. So I'm not like, I'm going to put 3 of them in there. And that's probably going to be where we want it. Now, it depends on who you're cooking for, obviously, as well. If they're not like spicy, habaneros, no matter what, are spicy. So you're not going to get anything mild out of habaneros.
So from 1 to 10, the salsa with the combination of jalapenos and the habaneros, 1 to 10, how spicy are we talking about?
Yeah, so the jalapeno, depends on the jalapeno, you never know. Sometimes, when you buy them, and sometimes they're like a 2. And sometimes they're like a 10. So I don't really know how spicy that one is I put in there. But I would say the habaneros are pretty consistently spicy. I would say the salsa is going to be maybe like a 7 or so. Okay. Or a 7.325, 6, I don't know, something like that. Like close to that. But yeah, it's going to be pretty spicy, I'd say. Yeah, so I just have everything in there now. And I'm just going to cook it for about 3 more minutes or so. I want to make sure that all the vegetables are broken down. Vegetables mean the tomato, the tomatillo, the chiles, the garlic in there. Actually, I said 3 minutes, maybe 5 more minutes. And you can always add like a little bit more water to that if the water starts going down a little bit. I'm kind of rushing the recipe right now because I want to make sure that I'm getting all this in for you all. But it's important that, sometimes even the guajillo chilies, what you do is you actually soak them in water first, and then rehydrate them and then add them to the salsa, just to make sure that you're not getting that like bits of like that dried chili. So, all right, next step I'm going to do is for the dried shrimp. Now I've got the nonstick pan. You don't have to use nonstick. You can use a regular pan. I've got this pan over here, which is really hot. It's also a small pan. I'm going to use this for the shrimp, but I'm waiting for the salsa first and before we do the shrimp. So in the meanwhile, we're going to do the shrimp. So I'm going to take a little bit of butter, and what we're going to do is we're going to toast the shrimp in butter and garlic. And I put a pretty good amount of butter in there. I think one of the cool things about this recipe is that you know, I use butter and garlic in there, and kind of like a pasta sauce, that butter and garlic, and like if you add white wine, that smell is just so incredible. It really gives the shrimp a really awesome flavor. So I'm just gonna melt the butter, kind of get a little bit frothy, and I'm gonna add the shrimp to it. I've got a pretty good amount of butter there, you guys saw. And I'm not gonna use all the shrimp, I don't need all the shrimp. And I'm just gonna kind of coat the shrimp in that. And I'm going to add, I've got chopped garlic here. And I'm just gonna add, I don't know, really just a touch. I don't really want it to be too garlicky, but I'm adding just a touch, which is gonna sort of just perfume those shrimp and let the shrimp and the garlic just go really slow. And what's gonna happen is that, you know, the beautiful thing about like dried chilies or dried shrimp or dried things, when you start to cook them, they start to sort of puff up and kind of rehydrate. So, you know, and the smell, just phenomenal. The thing about the dried shrimp is that you don't want to undercook them, because if you're familiar with dried shrimp, if they're not like toasted, they kind of have a chewiness to them, like I don't know, like a beef jerky almost, which is not bad. The problem with this shrimp though is that these little tentacles sometimes can poke your mouth if you're not careful. So when you toast them in the butter and the garlic, it sort of like makes them more tender and kind of crunchy and crumbly, you know, which is really nice. And the smell of these things are just incredible. Again, you can see that there's not that much color. I'm gonna put a really light brown on those things. But these are really a cool ingredient.
It's like a little scampi.
They're like little scampies. Yeah, and they're really fun. I mean, you could do this exact process I'm doing right now and throw them into salads, like the, you know, like a papaya salad or a tropical fruit salad, kind of like that, like the Thai salad with this dried shrimp. Sort of the same theme, but like a Mexican version of that. And this is just about ready. The salsa, so you can see the salsa is, those vegetables are getting really nice and tender and soft in there. It's important to note, I've got my blender ready to go, so have your equipment ready to go. All right, and then I'm gonna put these guys in a bowl. Here we go. Okay, the shrimp are ready. Again, they're not really that brown. They're just nice and toasty. The garlic's in there. They're a little salty, naturally salty, which is really, I love that. So I'm not gonna season them anymore, but that's gonna be the topping on the taco. All right, so that's that. And then while that's cooling and that's going, so I've got cabbage here. We've shredded it really fine. As a matter of fact, I'm actually gonna chop it up because I think it's a little bit easier to manage when it's chopped up. And I've got green and green and purple cabbage on here. Not necessary. If you want to just use just green, just purple, totally fine. I just like the color. You know, it's just kind of fun to have the two different colors cabbage on there. You know, at the restaurant, we put on the meat slicer to get it all nice and thin, but you could also just do it really fine at your house, or use one of my favorite tools, the mandolin, kind of just take it on there and kind of just shred it on there, which is fun. It's fun cooking at home because I have all my tools right here. So I think this sauce is just about done. I'm going to turn it down a little bit, and then of course I'm going to season that with salt and pepper. I use freshly ground pepper. I have it in this little bowl here, but I grind like a lot ahead of time. It's just so much better than like the store-bought stuff. All right, and then I've got this Vitamix blender here. You can just use any blender. Really important when you're doing like blending hot salsas, I'm sure some people have this experience, is just be careful when you turn it on, because all that steam in there wants to come out. So you gotta be really, really careful that you don't that it doesn't spray out of the blender. So I'm just gonna turn this on real quick. I guess a quick important note, I always tell my cooks this, is that kind of pulse the blender when you turn it on, not all at one time, so it doesn't squirt off the top. All right, so I'm gonna put the salsa right back in the same pot that I used to cook it in. All right, so I just wanna try it, make sure that how's the salt level on it.
So is it still a 7.3 or did it go up to 10?
No, I think it's a 7.3. Actually, it's not, or either that or my tolerance level continues to grow, which is probably both. But it is, it's actually really, really good. It's perfect. So my kids and my wife really like eating spicy. So, you know, I kind of have to step up my game. Otherwise, I'm going to get some slack. So you can see the sauce. Let me see the ladle here, maybe a little better. So it's nice and kind of thick, sort of like a tomato-y in a way.
So besides the taco sauce, what, I make sauce. It's always nice to see what other things I can do. What are your suggestions to with this sauce?
For this?
Mhm.
One of my favorite things that Lucy, my wife, makes, she's an incredible cook, is Picadillo Tostadas. So Lucy will always, like, she loves taking turkey and like cooking the turkey with diced sweet potatoes and onions, ground turkey, sorry, and maybe a little bit of oil until it's kind of crumbly and cooked. And then she'll add a salsa like this to it and kind of just cook it for about like 5 more minutes. And we'll just take fresh tostadas with beans, and we'll put the picadillo with the salsa on top of the beans, and then cabbage and cheese and pickled onions. And
Yum.
it is like one of my favorite dishes. I know we should do this for our show one time. It's
Absolutely.
awesome. No, it's really, really good. It's like one of my favorite dishes that Lucy makes. It's really great. All right, I'm gonna get the shrimp going now. So I've got this pan. It's pretty hot now. Really important. When cooking seafood, you always want to have a hot. Whether it's your grill, whether it's your saute pan, whether it's your broiler. When I cook seafood, it's usually grill, saute pan, or deep fry. And the reason why is because seafood in general is so delicate. You want to kind of cook it really fast, otherwise it overcooks or it falls apart or whatever. So it's really important that you make sure you have a hot pan. In this case, a hot pan. This shrimp here I've got, and I didn't mention that on the recipe. They're called red Argentine shrimp, and they're actually raw. Even though they're red, they're raw. I like these shrimp a lot because they're kind of sweet and they sort of pop in your mouth and almost like a lobster texture. Although the other shrimp are totally fine. We just like to use these at the restaurant, and you could find these also, like say at a specialty seafood person like Santa Monica Seafood, one of these guys.
They're really delicious, almost like baby langostinos.
They're totally like baby langostinos, exactly. All right, so I'm going to, I love avocado oil. That's like one of my favorite things recently. So I'm gonna add, I don't know, about a good 1.5 tablespoons of avocado oil. You can see it's a good amount to coat the pan. I don't know if you can see the smoke in the pan. Really, really important. Again, like the pan, it should be smoking hot. And you don't want to add the oil to the pan while you're heating the pan up because it'll taste burnt. So you want to add the oil to the pan and then right away the product. So in this case, the product's gonna be the shrimp. I'm gonna put salt. I'm using kosher salt. I'm using that pepper again, and I'm gonna kind of mix it up with my hands. And then I'm gonna add this really carefully. Make sure also the shrimp are dry. I dried the shrimp off. So a lot of times when you're defrosting the shrimp, there's a big old pool of water in there. If I put that right there with the pool of water in that pan, it would flame up, and it's really dangerous. So you wanna, even then, I'm gonna pull the pan off, put it in the fry a little bit, add that in there, and my pan's gonna stay on high the whole time. I'm gonna keep the pan on high. Okay, so my tortillas are nice and snuggled up in the little blanket over here. The cabbage, while those are going, I'm gonna put the cabbage in a little bowl. And I don't think I mentioned this on the recipe, but on the cabbage, you can use nothing. You can put some lime juice, or you can use poblano crema, which is an ingredient we use at the restaurant, which is basically Mexican sour cream pureed with like cilantro and garlic and lime juice and poblano chilies. And that's gonna kind of make almost like a coleslaw out of the cabbage. Okay, so the shrimp are still going, they're fine. Let the shrimp sit there. You don't want to really move them too much. I've got diced onion, just a little bit. I don't want it to be too oniony, maybe like 2 tablespoons. I've got cilantro, which I've kind of chiffonaded up. I've sliced up, not chopped. You don't want to chop cilantro because you're going to get black. You want to kind of slice it. It's nice and green. And then, so I've got cabbage, the poblano crema, or a little lemon juice and oil, cilantro, onions. I'm putting salt and pepper. I season everything, every layer seasoned. Okay, really, really important, because if you season every layer, by the time the dish comes together, it's just dynamite. So I don't want to put too much of the poblanos crema on there because it'll get too creamy, but kind of like a light slaw. All right, can I see that there? Crunchy and fresh. They kind of cool off the heat from the chile. Now the shrimp, you know, again, they're just about 75% the way cooked right now. So right now, what I'm going to do is I'm going to add a little bit of chopped garlic. This is really going to kind of take this dish to another level. Yes, you could add the salsa right away, but the chopped garlic and then the salsa, whew, it really stepped up this dish. And the garlic smell is like so amazing. All right, and then I'm gonna add the salsa. So as much as little as you like, I kind of like, you know, a decent amount on there. I'll save that salsa for later. Like you said, Jimena, we can use that for something else. And the shrimp are cooked. That's it. You don't really want to go anymore. I mean, at the restaurant right now, we'll put in the tortilla and it goes out. You know, people say, "Oh, my fish is chewy. It's this." It's overcooked. Guarantees overcooked. So you want to make sure you just cook it just enough. You see, it's a nice, almost like a shrimp stew. You can see that pretty well. But you know, that's it. And then I'm gonna try it and see if we need any salt and pepper in there.
Right, well, you're plating up this delicious looking taco.
Yeah.
I know you've been super busy reopening the restaurant, all the great programs you're having there on the patio, but I understand there's another big project that's happening, opening up pretty soon.
Yeah, thanks for bringing that up. We are very, very proud to announce we're opening a second location in Montebello. It's at a sort of a food, an outdoor food hall. We've got a bunch of really cool shipping containers and different concepts, and we're going to be one of them of a few amazing concepts there. It's called BLVD MRKT, so like Boulevard Market. It's on Montebello. Sorry, it's on Whittier and 6th, right near Montebello, or right near downtown Montebello, and it's going to be awesome. Everybody we're working with there and our other fellow vendors and restaurateurs are going to, you know, we've got Vichos, Pupusas, she's going to be right next to us, and we've got a bunch of great people, and it's going to be awesome. I think that it's going to be really great for the neighborhood. We're going to love it.
So Pez, like the items on your menu at Pez Cantina is going to be there in Montebello?
Yeah, well, we're gonna focus on my handheld items. So like you know, like a lot of stuff like these tacos, or like gorditas, or like these cool chalupas we're doing now, or cocktails, the mariscos, the aguachiles, all the different ceviches and stuff. So we'll be focusing on that. And we should be opening in about a month.
Congratulations. That's
Thanks.
wonderful.
It's
Good for you
exciting.
guys. That is
Thank
good
you.
stuff.
Yeah. Okay, so now I'm gonna take the tortillas that are nice and warm and soft, and I'm gonna put them kind of lined up like that. Just switch spoons, and I'm going to add 2 or 3, why not 3? I don't want anyone to say I ever made a skimpy taco. So 3 shrimp, and then a decent amount of that sauce on there. And then we're gonna put the coleslaw right on top, the cabbage with the cilantro and onions, and the poblano crema. Again, if you don't have poblano crema, just go ahead and use like regular Mexican crema in there, or even just a spritz of lime juice and salt and pepper. And then we're going to put these gorgeous dried shrimp on top. And that really gives it that nice, like kind of cool, yummy funk pop crunch in your mouth when you're eating them. So there is your taco campeón, tacos de diabla, camarones.
Those look amazing.
Thank you, thank you.
You know, Brett, we always do this for our online, for YouTube. Can you be so kind to hold the platter up and we can take a photograph of you as a
Yes, of
for
course.
Instagram?
Yes.
Yeah, say camarones.
Camarones.
Oh, fantastic. Thank you.
You're welcome.
Well, Brett,
Okay.
whoops.
Go ahead, Jimena.
I'm so sorry. Just one more time. Where can we find Pez Cantina? Where is your location? What's your Instagram? And also one more time, your new marketplace. Just a shout out.
Okay, so Pez Cantina is located at 401 South Grand Avenue. It's in downtown Los Angeles on Bunker Hill. So basically, I think the easiest thing I always tell people is look downtown, see the US Bank Tower, the tallest building in downtown, and we're the building that neighbors it to the north. We look forward to seeing you there. Open Tuesday through Sunday, excuse me. And please say hello to me or my lovely wife, Lucy, when you come in. We would love to meet you personally. And yes, and then we look forward to seeing you in Montebello, probably, I'd say like the second week of August will be opening sometime. So we're very excited about that. And thank you so much, Jimena and Abelardo. We love working with you guys and we love the Plaza. We're so glad you guys are back open again. And it's very exciting.
Well, congratulations for all the good stuff
Thank
that's
you.
up and coming. Always very supportive of La Plaza and our programming. Again, saludos a Lucy y la familia. Again, thank you so much. Those look
Gracias.
absolutely delicious.
Thank
Ahora se
you.
lo paso a mi compañero Abelardo.
Oh, well, thank you so much. They look amazing. I usually ask, well, who's going to be eating them? But it's a given. You're at home. I'm sure your family is going to enjoy them tonight.
I think so. Yeah, we'll figure it out. Otherwise, I'll do it.
As well as that cocktail. I'm not a big fan of passion fruit, but I'm sure I would try that one for sure.
Yeah. All right. Well, next time I see you.
All right. Thank you. Well, thank you to everybody that showed up here at Casa con la Plaza. We have Margaret Avila. She's asking, that's on 6th and Whittier in Montebello, Brett?
That is, yep, 6th and Whittier. Yep.
All right. Well,
exactly.
Lupe Felix Franco says that's awesome. That's very near my home. So there you go. If you're living in that area, show up when sometime in August.
Yeah. I'd say second week of August.
Second week of August.
Yeah.
There you go. All right. Well, as you all know, a lot of things are opening up, including La Plaza de Cultura y Artes, and also one of our fellow cultural institutions, which is the Grand Performances there at California Plaza, directly across Pez Cantina. So if you're going to check out Grand Performances, who puts on an awesome schedule of programming throughout the summer, check out Pez Cantina before or after the performances there at Grand Performances there at California Plaza. And I know that you welcome all those people that show up.
Thank you so much. Yes, absolutely.
All right. Well, thank you again to everybody. Let's see. If you caught just part of the session today, if you want to see it again, or if you want to share it with your friends, we'll be posting it on our YouTube site at La Plaza LA. It lives on our Facebook page at La Plaza LA, and also on our website. It goes on our website, lapca.org. All right. We also, of course, we're in Casa con la Plaza continues, even though we are opening up. This Friday, we have Dan Guerrero Happy Hour with Abraham Quintanillo, music producer and entrepreneur, and also the father of the late great Selena. And then, of course, we are open our first public programming here at La Plaza this Saturday, July 17th at 6 p.m. The doors open. It's a documentary, Playing with Fire, Carlos Alvarez. As you know, we have a show here, an exhibition that we opened up a long time ago, but very few people have seen it. We're now open here at La Plaza, and you can go check it out in our second floor gallery. But it'll be a documentary preceded by a performance by The Sacred Souls, the Chicanos oldies band out of San Diego, and then also a panel with Elsa Flores Almaraz and Richard Montoya, who served as the co-directors of the documentary, and a panel with John Valadez, Barbara Carrasco, and Frank Romero, hosted or moderated by our happy hour host, Dan Guerrero. So please check it out. A lot more going on at La Plaza this Sunday, Molcajete Dominguero Outdoor Market. They're in our historic Paseo walkway. So we're opening up. We hope you come and join us soon here at La Plaza de Cultura y Artes. We want to thank our sponsors for this afternoon's session, AARP California. And once again, thank you so much, Brett.
You're welcome. Thank you for having me. I appreciate it.
All right. And Jimena, we'll see you real soon.
I see you soon.
Alrighty, gracias a todos y nos vemos muy pronto. Bye bye.
Bye bye.